What is going on, guys? So it is another edition of Influencer Friday. That's what we do around here on Fridays. It's to let you guys in on the YouTube stars or the YouTube influencers that I enjoy, the content creators that really open up my eyes. Now, that could be I like their content, I like the way they shoot, I like the way they're editing, any of those things. And that's just what we do here on Fridays. So this week it's a big creator. I think he's got over 7 million subs on YouTube, but I would be remiss because I've watched him so much not to talk about him, and that is Binging with Babish. Now, he does have a collection of channels, but his main one is Binging with Babish, and the idea was and is genius. So he looks at any of the old shows, kind of a nostalgia or comfort shows that we do, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Adventure Time, things of that nature. Parks and Rec, he's done a few good times. And takes an item from those shows. He did one with SpongeBob. And takes the item from those shows in a specific episode and he recreates the dish. So, like Bubble Bass's order from SpongeBob, so he took that and like made that into a burger. They broke it down. He found a thread on Reddit, made the whole burger. It was massive, insane. He did Harold and Kumar's order for Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. So he tapped into a nostalgia piece that we all enjoy, whether it's you watching Adventure Time, me with Ron Swanson steaks in Parks and Rec, or the SpongeBob stuff, or anything from How I Met Your Mother. And then he does it with a great culinary background and lets you see different ways of doing things. Now, he's moved on, is doing basics with Babish, which is he's telling you how to cook different, simple kind of meals or how to do simple steps to get where you want to on a more difficult meal. And it's really great. The other part is he doesn't talk to you the way I'm talking to you right now. His camera angle is down, so you don't see his face while he's cooking. You can see the cooktop, and he overdubs it or puts sound over the top of the video and explains what he's doing.
So with all of our sort of side dishes ready to go, we're ready to make us some steaks. First up for the porterhouse, we're heating some vegetable oil in a heavy cast iron pan over high heat for about 5 minutes until it's nothing short of straight up smoking. We are then patting our porterhouse as dry as humanly possible before poisedly plunking it into our cast iron pan, blasting it in the face with all the heat that our stove can muster for about 2 minutes, until a deep, dark brown, robust crust has formed on the first side. We're then giving this guy a flip and repeating the process on the opposite side. Then I wanted to try preparing this in the style of bistecca alla fiorentina. First I'm going to give the fat cap a little loving before killing the heat, and standing the steak upright upon its to-bone. The bone is going to protect the steaks from the heat of the pan and prevent them from cooking unevenly as we place them into a 450 degree Fahrenheit oven. We want to reach an internal temp at the thickest point of about 120 degrees Fahrenheit, just enough time to deal with our T-bone. This time I am smoking out a carbon steel pan, which doesn't retain heat as well as cast iron, but it heats up much more quickly, which makes it perfect for a thinner steak like this that we're just going to sear and butter baste. Same procedure as before, just hit it over ripping high heat before flipping. Don't get too discouraged if you don't have a very even crust. We're going to fix that in post, so to speak. First, into the pan go a few cloves of crushed garlic and a couple sprigs of fresh rosemary and thyme, and then just a whole lot of high-quality unsalted butter. I'm going with about 5 tablespoons. Once the butter is melted, which should happen very, very quickly, we're tipping the pan towards the garlic and the herbs and basting the steak. Here it is from another angle for illustrative purposes, and this is not only going to even out the color, it is going to deeply flavor our steak as it finishes cooking. Once the thickest part of the steak registers about $125 Fahrenheit, we're removing it onto a warm plate and bathing it one last time in all that herby, garlicky brown butter. An indisputably erotic sentence.
I like the way he does that. I've talked to a couple of people in the community. They like the way he speaks. It's a calming experience for them. They end up watching his videos like going to bed at night because it is a calmer experience for them. And it's just really fun to see what he comes up with or what dish he finds to do. So definitely go check him out. Obviously, as always, his YouTube is going to be in the description below. And go give him a subscribe if you haven't. I know he's got a big channel. I know he's got a good number of subs. But if you haven't seen him, definitely go check him out. The content is absolutely top tier. And shout out to him for making the Turf and Turf, a Ron Swanson classic.
I call this Turf and Turf. It's a 16-ounce T-bone and a 24-ounce porterhouse. Also, whiskey and a cigar. I'm gonna consume all of this at the same time because I am a free American.
I think I've watched that one more than anything. Plus his gravy recipe for the steak and potato breakfast. He makes a gravy that just looks incredible.
You slaughter your own cows, Meg. Nice. Potatoes?
Better grab some while you can.
Meg's gravy is famous. It's practically a food group.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week I'm delighted to be taking a look at the steak, eggs, and gravy from my first PG-13 movie, Twister, particularly Meg's famous gravy, for which we're going to need a pretty epic beef stock, so I've got about 3 pounds of oxtails here, which are loaded with delicious meat and marrow and connective tissue. I'm also going to add a large Spanish onion roughly chopped into pieces, a few ribs of celery, ain't a stew without celery, and a couple carrots roughly chopped, not even peeled. We're tossing all those in a bowl, hitting them with a little kosher salt, 3 to 4 tablespoons of tomato paste, which is both going to deepen flavor and color, and a drop of vegetable oil. We're tossing everybody together until everybody is well coated in the tomato paste, and then we're dumping everybody out onto a rimmed baking sheet so we can roast them off in a 425 degree Fahrenheit oven for anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour. We want everybody to have picked up some nice color and to smell the way you imagine Nick Offerman smells. Just marvelously meaty. Now, you could simmer this on the stovetop to make stock, but I'm going to expedite the process in a pressure cooker along with some fresh herbs, parsley and thyme, and a whole head's worth of garlic, the cloves cut in half. Then I'm pouring some boiling water on our roasting pan, scraping up all the good stuff off the bottom of the pan so we don't waste any of that delicious flavor, and topping the whole thing up with water. Then we're cooking this guy under high pressure for 2 hours, which is going to extract as much flavor as possible from our ingredients and make your kitchen smell the way you imagine Nick Offerman's house would smell if he invited Steven Ranella and the Brawny Man over for dinner. Strain that out into a large stock pot, make sure that you have extracted all the beefy juices from the solids, and then we're going to defat this thing, which you can either do with a ladle like this, or you can fridge it overnight and scoop off the hardened fat with a spoon. Once defatted, I'm going to place this over medium heat, bring it to a simmer, and reduce it by about 50%, almost like we're making a demi-glace. Flavor, I want to use meaty fats in our roux, and having slaughtered her own cows, I figure Meg has access to something like this, beef suet, a saturated fat found around the animal's kidneys that has a nice high smoke point. To render out the fat from the solids, I'm just going to heat it over medium-low heat until it melts out. Then strain it into my intended gravy making vessel. Now you don't have to use suet, you could use beef tallow or bacon fat. Why don't we add some bacon fat? This gravy is, after all, supposed to be like its own food group. In a separate pan, I'm just melting the stock so that it is ladleable. Then I'm heating the fat over medium heat until shimmering, and then adding an equal amount of all-purpose flour, about 4 tablespoons worth. Whisking and cooking that for about 3 minutes until it's nice and blonde, and then slowly ladling in the hot stock. Whisking constantly and making sure that it's fully incorporated before adding another ladleful, which is going to help prevent us ending up with a lumpy gravy. Once we've added about 4 cups of stock, we're going to cook this guy for maybe 10 minutes until it's nice and thick. Season generously with kosher salt and freshly ground pepper, and then to both darken the color and deepen the flavor, I'm going to add something that I think my mom would have added, a little splash of Gravy Master, a caramelized sugar and spice mixture that takes this gravy from homemade to down home. Mix everybody together, cook it a little longer if you want it a little thicker, and as always, give it a taste, not just for seasoning, but because you can really eat this stuff by the spoon.
So if this happens to get to Babish, those are my 2 favorite that you've done, is the Turf and Turf and Twister's breakfast of steak and potatoes. So again, guys, it's Influencer Friday. This week is Binging with Babish, so you've got a whole week. Go check him out and give him a sub. Find your favorite video. Let me know if I'm missing one. Put in a comment here. This is my favorite video from Babish. And we will see you guys next Friday on Influencer Friday with a new creator. But for this week, go check out Binging with Babish. He's an absolute rock star. Great channel. And, you know, I love it. So go check him out, guys. And until next time, Fam Jam, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We're out.